Me steering because right before we go ahead with this, please, does anyone have any objections to us recording this? Because yeah, GDPR requires that we ask you. We mostly just use this post it on our social media channels, and it's going to be on our website. So hopefully you're all okay with us recording. Okay. Um, so I'm here to talk about winning international scholarships and achieving career aspirations. That's a lot to unbundle in 45 minutes. So I'm just going to get started, and then hopefully I also want this to be as interactive as possible. So please do ask your questions in the chat, and I'll get to them at the end of the presentation. There will also be time to look at any questions that you might have, and I want this to be as practical and as hands-on as possible. Okay, right. So thanks to the NFC committee for inviting me to present this webinar, and also I'm also a part of the committee, so thanks to me. So how am I qualified to speak about the subject? My background is okay. I think someone is doing something to the screen, making annotations. Is that you, Chairman?
No, that shouldn't be me.
Okay, right. So my qualifications to speak about this, I've had a fair share of applying for scholarships, attending scholarship interviews, and I've had a few successes as well. Um, I I got a couple of scholarships during my undergraduate days. I know that those mostly do not count because they were local scholarships, but I think they all kind of have already just gave me the kind of background I needed to be where I am today. I did my PhD at the University of Glasgow. I finished 2 years ago, and my PhD was funded by PTDF. I also did my master's here in the UK a couple of years ago. Something seemed to have happened. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, but we are seeing your picture, not the
No,
slide
we're not
deck.
seeing your screen. No.
Sorry, can you put it all back? Okay, good.
I think
It's okay
someone,
now.
yeah, I think someone did something. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see.
All right, thank you. So, I also had a fully funded master scholarship at the University of Manchester a little over 10 years ago. So, I've helped many other people gain very prestigious international masters scholarships in different countries. As a matter of fact, I had a consultancy, an educational consultancy, but I stopped doing that a couple of years ago. So I think I know a bit about the subject, and I'm also very passionate about people achieving their career aspirations. So education is one of the best ways to prepare for achieving career aspirations. Okay, so today we'll be looking at a few things. Like I said, it's quite packed. So the first part, this presentation is obviously in two parts. The first part is, about finding and winning international scholarships, and the second part is about getting your dream job or preparing to get such jobs. So I'm going to talk a bit about international education. So this is part one. So here we'll be looking at international education. Why do people want to take up international education? The types of scholarships that are available, some strategies for looking for those scholarships, and some of the resources that I found useful in my time. Application timelines and planning your application and gaining admission into the university of your choice, creating those winning applications, how you go about getting started, and preparing the documentation you need, including financial documentation. If time permits, I would briefly mention about visa application and making plans for your travel. And a few of the things that people do that either land them in trouble or make their chances of succeeding, lower their chances of succeeding. Right. So, understanding international education. Why might you want to study abroad? A lot of us here in this Zoom call, especially members of the NSC Glasgow branch, studied abroad, are still studying abroad or live abroad. There are several reasons people want to do that. You want to grow your professional career, or you want to take up professional development. International education gives you global experience. It allows you to network with people from all parts of the world, to meet with them, learn from them, as well as create uh, future collaborations to do stuff together. Either create a company together, work together, or it gives you access to people from like all parts of the world. And also there's academic excellence. Lots of the universities, international universities, are renowned for their research expertise. There's Oxford here, there's Cambridge here, there's Glasgow, Strathclyde, and Manchester, and all other universities here. I've already mentioned the career development. Having an international education opens you up to the global job market. So if you're here in the UK, you see jobs being advertised in China, in Indonesia, in Saudi Arabia, or the United Arab Emirates, and increases your opportunities of being able to get those jobs. So people come here typically to do postgraduate studies. They will have a lot of undergraduates as well. Sometimes we see people coming to do exchange programs and study abroad programs. Most of those are arranged due to bilateral partnership between the university in Nigeria and the university in the UK or the US. One of the people I taught at a program at University of Lagos about 3 years ago went to Rice University over the summer last year for an exchange program. I've seen people go to South Korea, and so if you're an undergraduate and you're in this call, please, your head of department or your department, those people, the secretary of the department, they know about this kind of exchanges. If they do not know, you can always go up to the vice chancellor's office and make inquiries. Lots of times, universities abroad write to universities back in Nigeria asking to have those collaborations. And I've also seen university vice chancellors coming to the UK to make some of those academic collaboration arrangements, so that both their staff can come for research visits as well as their students can mutually visit other universities. We're in the UK, but there are US, Canada are also really popular destinations, as well as Australia. The first one because these are English-speaking countries. Germany, China, France, Netherlands, Malaysia. There are loads of other countries where Nigerians go to study. Brazil, Turkey, like you just name it. I doubt there is any country in the world that you go that you will not find the Nigerian students studying there. Typically, what you need to study abroad are, more or less the same. So in terms of scholarship, it's really important that you understand that there's a difference between full scholarships, meaning that you have a full ride. Your scholarship, your tuition fee is paid, and you're given some stipend. So you're being paid monthly or quarterly, or twice in a year, or however the arrangement is. So it means that there's no financial commitment, there's no financial requirements on your part. For instance, the scholarship I had, as well as many of the people on this call had for their postgraduate studies, were full ride scholarships. So the type that you get from, I had the NITDA scholarship in my master's, and I had PTDF during my postgraduate studies, MasterCard scholarship. Some of the ones you've seen here, Chevening is from the UK government, DAAD is from the German government. There's Fulbright scholarship, there's Rhodes Schwartz scholarship. There's also World Bank, Commonwealth scholarship. There's Ford Foundation, Gates Foundation at the University of Cambridge, and some other universities here in the UK. So there are also partial scholarships and grants. So partial scholarship means that, okay, they say, you know what, we're not going to charge you any tuition fee. So school fees is waived for you, but you have to provide for your cost of living expenses. So those ones are partial scholarships. There are also scholarships that universities give that you have to pay part of the tuition, but you're not paying the full tuition. So always try to understand the scholarship that you've applied for and what they are going to provide you. I know that the University of Glasgow, where I studied, can give you 50% off if you had a first class from your bachelor's program in Nigeria if you're coming to do a master's. If you're coming to do a PhD, there are all kinds of partial scholarships that are available. But then again, as I will as I will discuss later, there will be some other financial requirements that you might need to fulfill, like showing how you're going to get the rest of the money. If your family is going to give you that money, or if you have some other partial scholarship that will complement the first one. There are also country-specific scholarships. I've already mentioned the DAD scholarship by the German government. There's MEX scholarship in Japan. There's one bursary something in Turkey, and loads of other countries offer scholarships that are particularly applicable for the given countries, especially Nigeria and some other developing countries. So within the University of Art scholarships, there are those that are based on merit, there are those based on need, there are research assistantships, there are teaching assistantships. Teaching assistantships are super popular in North America. So if you're going to Canada or the US, then most people going there to study for a PhD. If the university is funding your studies, meaning that they are waiving your tuition fee, you're not paying any tuition fee, they will usually require that you teach undergraduates. So, and then you're paid like a salary. So your scholarship, your stipend is like a salary for the services that you're rendering to the university. You might become, be required to do teaching, marking, assisting professors in delivering lectures. It's very common in North America. There are also research assistantships for people doing a PhD. I did a couple of them actually when I was a PhD student. So where you find supervisors or professors that have grant funding, and then you assist them in doing research. Most of these, any university-based scholarships are always advertised on university websites or in the emails that they send to students, either in particular courses, or you check every university has a job portal. So you check the university portal and then you're able to find this. And then there are, externally funded ones. I've already mentioned the Ford Foundation and Gates Foundation. These are all, some of them, or MasterCard, for instance, MasterCard scholarship. They select universities that they want to work with. For instance, there's the University of Edinburgh here in the UK. I think there's Cambridge as well. And then there are a few universities in Canada and in different countries. So if you're applying for MasterCard scholarship, there will be some restrictions based on subjects. So you have to look at what subjects are they funding. Is my subject or my course included? And then you look at the universities where they are funding these subjects, because each of them is tenable in a particular place. And that's actually the case with PTDF as well. Even though PTDF is a bit open to allowing you to gain admission in any university of your choice. In the initial instance, when they advertise scholarships, they want people to study so and so course at so and so university. There are all kinds of grants being available for students. There are travel grants, there are exchanges, there are go abroad programs that are open to students who are already studying. So if you're a master's student or if you're a bachelor student, you should always be on the lookout for some of those opportunities, because they will be advertising that if you're a PhD student, for instance, you can go to Norway or Denmark. I have colleagues at the University of Glasgow who are still PhD students. Some of them just came back from 3-month exchanges. And those are always very rich experiences that allow you to study at other universities for a brief period of time while continuing to build towards your degree at the primary university where you're admitted. So, where do you find scholarships? I know that we often hear in Nigeria that people get scammed, and all kinds of unfortunate tales being told about people not, people being scammed because of they are trying to get a scholarship. So that shouldn't really be the case. Every funder, that means every scholarship provider, has a website. How do you know who they are? So first of all, if someone is advertising on social media and they are requiring you to fill a form just to express your interest or something like that, first try and go to the websites of the scholarship provider. So when I say social media, there are people who have made it, their passion, or their part-time job, or sometimes maybe even their full job, to advertise available scholarships on social media. Right. So please follow those people. Make sure that they know what they are about, and hopefully after this webinar, you'll be able to know how to spot the genuine ones. You've already seen a number of scholarships being mentioned. There are also online resources. There are university websites, and I'm going to make those a bit interactive. Soon enough, I will show how to search for those things. So I will say maybe I assume that I have a background in mechanical engineering, or maybe I have a background in agri sciences, for instance, or any course. And then some universities are, good enough that if you go there and you put your country, you put the course you want to study, they will show you the entry requirements, and those are really key. And we're going to look at that in a moment. I mentioned Naira Land because I'm a big fan of Naira Land. I know a lot of things have changed about Naira Land in the last couple of years, but it was a very useful resource, especially the education what's it called, the education thread on Naira Land. There's always, you always see people being excited about scholarship opportunities. They post it there, people are discussing, people who have applied before, they are talking about it. And then there's also networking with alumni and professionals, which, you'll find loads and loads of them from the NSE Glasgow branch. So timelines and planning. It is always good to start early. I'm going to check later, and you will see that a lot of the scholarships that are available for this year. So in the West, in the global West, that's what I mean, like in the UK, North America, and maybe Australia, schools typically start, in autumn. Sorry, is that autumn? Towards after the end of summer, right? Before winter begins. That's around August, September. So if you're applying to travel August, September, especially if you're looking for a scholarship, you should ideally have submitted your application. UK, you can say apply up to maybe March, April, in some cases, maybe in some cases February. I'm going to share again, just open up a web browser and we'll look at this together in a moment. But the earlier the better, because the key thing is that you need to write application essays, which I'm going to get in a moment. And then sometimes even when you've written and done everything that is your part, you might be waiting for letters of reference or letters of recommendation from the academic whom you have chosen as your referee. I know I have a few of those waiting in my inbox, and they might take a bit of time to get back to you. So it's always good to start early. And then you start documenting evidence. You start having a checklist of what does the university say that I need? Or they say I have to have a 2-1. If I do not have a 2-1, I need to have some work experience. And some of them might require you to write some standardized tests. So IELTS is the International English Language Testing System, or Test of English as a Foreign Language. There is a Graduate Record Exam, or GMAT. So if you're going to North America, that's Canada or US, you typically require GMAT or GRE. If you're going to the UK or going to Australia, you might require IELTS or TOEFL. Again, every university and every course will tell you what those requirements are. And then you might get away without actually writing any of these tests. I never had to write any of this for all my admissions, but you need to show that you've had a good record of good scores in English, and you need to write letters sometimes to the university to explain, or get your university to explain that your previous education has been conducted fully and solely in English. Okay, so the best application is one where you're a strong candidate, and this goes for both applying for a job as well as applying for scholarships. So if you're an undergraduate and you're in this call, then I think you're in the best possible position that there can be to take advantage of scholarship opportunities that are available. The number one thing that you show scholarship and maybe doing a master's or a PhD is it's an academic pursuit. So how do you show that you're a good academic candidate? You show that you're a good academic candidate by having a good good results, consistent results over time. But some people's situations are different. If for whatever reason your result has been up and down, most scholarship awards will tell you that you need to have a 2-1 or a first class. Some cases they might allow a second class, lower, that is a 2-2. But in exceptional cases, they might allow you to, join, to apply for any scholarship. But if you have less than a 2-2, maybe you have a third class and you have a professional work experience to back it up. And I'll talk about professional work experience in a moment because professional work experience is highly valued in the academia. And do not think that professional work experience means that you have to be the manager or the quantity surveyor for Julius Berger PLC. There's dignity in pretty much every level, and the skills that are valued in the academia can be picked up anywhere. I've written academic application essays where people are sales assistants, and it's all about really seeing value in what the services that you're providing. If you're a sales assistant, then you're picking up all kinds of skills in communication, in negotiating, in talking to people, in influencing, right? So if you're going to do a PhD, it's it was always good to have experience of research or to have evidence of research. If you have some publications, if you've done any presentation, you've attended the Nigerian Society of Engineers conference in Abuja, you presented a paper maybe from your final year project, or you won an award. Those are strong evidences to use in in writing your application essay. If you don't have any of this, you can always take a course online, get some professional certification. If you've done some volunteering, if you're the departmental secretary or the departmental president, or you help out in church or in your mosque or in your local community, I think there are just unlimited opportunities for you to be active, to get involved, because the more you're involved, the more you're building your professional and your people skills. And these things are always valued when you're applying for scholarships. So selecting strong academic referees, this is vitally important because I get lots of people asking me to write them a reference letter, but I'm like, I'm not qualified to write you a recommendation because I do not know you academically. I've never taught you. I've never examined you. I've never supervised you. How do I know? This is not based on, someone as your uncle is a lecturer, a professor. They would be ill qualified. And if you do not write these letters matter because they are part of what is used to judge your application, especially if there's a tie. If there is another strong candidate and you're a strong candidate, and that person has letters of recommendation from their supervisors glorifying their research skills, saying that they are really exceptional in doing research, and you have a letter from your uncle who is a professor saying that you're a good boy, that you listen to your parents or something. You're not a dog. You're here to do research and to do academic work. So the best person to write you a recommendation letter is someone who has supervised you, maybe who supervised your undergraduate project, or someone who taught you for at least maybe 1 or 2 semesters, preferably longer, because at least they will say that, okay, in my course you scored so and so you're a really good candidate for this scholarship. Sorry, Mr. Chairman and the others, could you keep an eye on them? I see there are people in the waiting room. Right. And so if someone has chosen to give you a reference letter, if they're a good recommender, they will ask you for the right information that, how are you a strong candidate for this scholarship? Or they can even ask you, remind me again, did I teach you? What did you score in my course? Did you do any project related to my course? I know that in some instances, I've had to provide, in fact, actually in many instances, I've had to provide such information to professors who want to recommend or refer me. Right. So There are many ways to go about applying for postgraduate scholarships. You can first of all apply for the scholarship and then apply for admission. And then again, it depends on who the funder is. So if you are applying first for the scholarship, then you might also need to separately gain admission. But in many cases, they would, scholarship providers would want to see that you already have admission, meaning that the university has screened you, they've screened your qualifications, they know that you can actually do this course before they now offer you a scholarship. So how do you go about that? So first of all, you need to, I'm going to again do a bit of, before I close from this section, do a bit of just quick Google search looking at some of this information to how to research programs. So first of all, you can check university rankings. If you look at the top ranked, we're engineers here. So if you're trying to study for an engineering program, then you'll be looking at schools like MIT. It really depends. You can select, okay, which one is best? Is it USA? Is it Canada? Is it UK? I know people have questions like that. And if you have a question like that, you can always put it in the chat or we can address that during Q&A. And I will say that it really depends on what you're looking to do. A lot of people come to the UK because English is the language of instruction here, which is not the case in a place like Germany or some other places. And even in non-English speaking countries, there are also programs that are run in English. So people come here also because the programs are shorter. The master's program in the UK is 1 year. In North America is maybe a year and 6 months or 2 years. But then that longer period also allows you to have more in-depth research skills. It allows you to delve more, to be able to do maybe internships and then to gain more practical skills in the course of the program. So you also there are also niche areas. If you want to do something like a master's in robotics, it's not every school that offers that. So you might want to research the expertise of the faculty. University of Oxford, for instance, is like one of the top ranking places in robotics, as well as Imperial College London. Um, Lots of other schools do programs in robotics, or you want to do something in mechatronics, but everybody knows where their strength lies. So there's a website called the QS World University Rankings, and if we have time, we'll look at that. And then there is also lab facilities. There are some schools that have really strong laboratories because they have had funding to be able to buy and equip some of those labs. Again, if you want to do a niche program, programming structural engineering, for instance, or it might not be every school that has the necessary facilities for you to be able to do practical, which again, we are engineers, we don't want to just do a lot of theory in Nigeria and then come to the UK or go to the US and continue to do some theory. So it's always important to try and visit the campus. And I said virtual because that's what's mostly practical to us. A lot of them will have YouTube pages. Some people, students there might have, blogged about some of their research skill labs and equipment and other things like that. Try and look around, how's the campus? If everyone there is white and you're looking to go to a place where you might meet more other Nigerians, then you might want to consider that. And then if everyone there is black and the university is in the UK, then you might also want to consider if you want to go to a university that feels like you're at home or you want to mix up your experiences. So try and do a virtual tour. Right. This is the application process is a bit overlapping, but the application process typically is just really completing a form. They will ask you, to fill out some details and then and upload some documentation. Right. I'm really running out of time and we're still in part one. So the main part of this talk is actually supposed to be on how to write craft those winning applications. So the main thing again is to talk about your academic and research interests if you're going for postgraduate programs. If you're not going for postgraduate program, if you want to come here and do an undergraduate program in sensory perception or in microbiology or something like that, then you talk about your fascination with the field. Why do you want to do that? Why are you so passionate about that? It's still the same thing. The way to write these essays are the same thing. And then why are you doing this course? How does doing this course lead you to your desired career or profession at the end of the course? So why do you want to study abroad? Why are you not doing this course in Nigeria? So you're now going to talk about the excellent facilities that are available abroad and all kinds of other things that is attracting you abroad. Or maybe because you want to develop international career, like we've already talked about when we started this presentation. And then this fit is like, one of the most important things. How are you going to be able to cope? How are you showing that you blend in? Sorry about that. Right. So most scholarships or admission application would ask you to write something called a statement of purpose or a personal statement. And this is really, again, just addressing the points we mentioned in the previous slide. This is your opportunity to now expand on some of these points, your interests. And so, first of all, is why are you applying for this course? Why are you applying to study mechanical engineering instead of I don't know, electronic engineering? Why are you applying to study electronic engineering instead of medicine? So, what is your understanding of the course? This is particularly important in postgraduate studies. So, if your understanding here is this is generally called the background, you need to be the right fit. If you have a background in pharmacy and you want to study for a master's in mechatronics, you're not going to understand a thing. And that's a problem. Universities want people who are going to come and graduate because unlike in some places in Nigerian universities where lecturers take joy in failing students, here they want more people to pass because showing that there's a high pass percentage means that more people are going to want to apply to the course next year. So your background means that if I'm going to study electrical engineering, for instance, then I understand circuits and control engineering and a bit of all the background that you need, including mathematics and all the engineering analysis that you need to be able to do that. So why you? Why are you the person that universities have limited places? So many classes would have 30 something, 40 something people, and in exceptional cases, maybe up to 50. And people are applying from all over the world. India alone might, have like 1 million people applying in a year for a particular program in a particular country, especially engineering programs or IT programs, which are usually really popular. And then there are people from Bangladesh, from all over the world, and you're applying from other countries in Africa as well. So why are you the best person that is suited for this limited slot in this graduate program? So again, you talk about your background, the courses you've studied that have prepared you to be a perfect candidate for this course. You talk about any work experiences you have. You talk about your leadership skills. You talk about your interpersonal skills because you're going to be doing group assignments and stuff like that. So if you've been a leader before, if you've been a Boy Scout, if you've led people in church or in your mosque or in your community, if you've been a teacher before, if you taught people in secondary school, in nursery school or something, then it means you have really good organizational skills, you have good communication skills. There are all kinds of soft skills that must come in. And then so why you again might mean that, oh, I'm the best person in MATLAB programming. I know Python, I've been able to do this, I've been able to do that. And these are all things that are required skills that are needed to study this course. Again, when we look at one or two practical examples, we'll see what that means. Yeah, maybe if you play football or if you play chess, these are all group games and they show that you're able to collaborate in large groups. An example of when you are asked why this course, yeah, this is every example I've provided here have been examples I've used myself or helped other people use to get. I wrote all of this by myself to get admission in different universities. This one was for a technical university in Germany. I think this was around 2017. And you see how we built up some evidence. The Nigerian film industry, previously considered a non-viable economic sector, has recently stolen global attention, and the IMF estimates that it is worth 7.2 billion in 2016. While some other data shows that Nigeria will spend more, shows that entertainment is one of the areas that Nigeria will spend more, and it has continued to grow, and experts predict that it has potential to completely outshine the oil industry, which is currently Nigeria's economic mainstay. But it is critically bedeviled. Now, this is where this is a hook. First of all, everyone loves a good story. This is where I now highlight the problem, right? You say here that, sorry, because of time, I won't be able to use annotation, but here it says that the film industry is critically bedeviled by unauthorized content distribution and piracy. So, they lose $1 billion annually due to piracy. So there's a clear problem here. And then there's a dire need for qualified academics and educational facilities. This was from the news that in 2017, the number of slots available in universities was half of the people that wrote the exam. So, you need more skilled people. And I was building up why I'm good. So this addresses a lot of things. I'm going to skip to a few slides forward because what I didn't show here is so there are like 4 why questions I've prepared here. Why this program? Why you? Why this this university, and why this country? And then what are your future plans? Well, how would studying this course help you to land your dream job? So I have loads of other examples here. This one is for a clinical and public health nutrition at the University College London. And you see, there's always a good story. Good nutrition is health, and health is life. And unlike drugs, eating right prevents and aids recovery for several ailments that arise from malnutrition without side effects, and is very effective in managing life-threatening illnesses. You build up a good story. Everyone loves a good story. This has nothing to do with you. He hasn't even said anything. It shows this is why, people can use ChatGPT to write their application essays, but I would highly advise you that you first of all write the essay by yourself. You try and do your research. It's all about research. I found all of these things by just looking at essentially the university web pages for the course, and then you try and link your life experiences with what you're trying to study. Right. This was for a chemical engineering and analytical sciences masters at the University of Manchester. This is quite old. I wrote this in 2014. And climate change has even become a bigger problem now than it was in 2014. See, our world is warming up, polar ice caps are melting, and the ozone layer is getting depleted. Uh, Chemical industries are the heart of production and consumption of energy in any economy. And besides the energy industry, chemical engineering permeates all aspects of industrial life, from enhancing and processing farm produce to making formulated products. And then it goes on and on to build the kind of background that will show that if you are the admissions officer and you read a letter like this, you just be nodding, because this shows that the person came prepared. They've done their research. They know why this course is important, right? Why does it matter? Not just to the person that wants to study it, but why does it matter for the world? Yeah. So there's another example here for people in the arts. Anyone wanting to do a course in the arts, this is for a media and culture and communication industries masters at the University of East London. This was around maybe 2020-ish. So this was someone who was a journalist in Nigeria then, trying to apply for a master's in a course related to their discipline. So there are all kinds of reasons that you can give. This is some other examples. We'll be sharing the slides later, so you can look at some of these examples. This is for another course at Birmingham City University, right? And okay, so this is now YU, right? This person says that I have been intrigued by the connection between food and drugs. In fact, personally, what I said was that I was interested in understanding how people appeared on television. This was about 11 years ago when I was writing my own application. And it was true. When I was growing up, we did not have a TV. And I remember like the first time there's this man that used to show football games and everyone would crowd into his house. This was like when I was a child. So, and it was magic that something was happening in somewhere like another part of the world, and you're here sitting watching, those small TV tubes back in the days, black and white screen. So that was one of my motivation for studying electronic engineering, and it has continued to intrigue me, the way technology works. Yeah, you can imagine a child just running to check at the back of the TV to know if there was someone hiding there. So you tell your story, right? And you tell it well, and you say that it have to be something personal. I've seen people talk about them wanting to do a course in public health because they've had a family tragedy, or they have someone who is struggling with a sickness, and then it's made them want to go into public health or medicine because they want to find a cure for their own family member. The motivation is really important, and why you answers that motivation question, because if you're highly motivated, you're going to succeed in that program. um Okay, this is quite long, so I'm not going to read this one. So I have the requisite background for this. I have studied economic and social problems in advert, blah blah blah. Right. So this shows the academic preparation part of the background. So one is your motivation, the other part is the academic preparation. It means that, yeah, like I said before, if you have a bachelor's in law and you want to do a master's in civil engineering, the university is not going to accept you, except if you tell them that you have worked 5 years as a civil engineer, that you've practiced, even though you did not have the degree, you practiced and you've learned, you've done some online courses, you've done some certifications to meet the same qualification that a person who has the civil engineering bachelor's, because there's a lot of math, right? So if you do not have those backgrounds, you might not be able to do that. So I've already talked about this, why this university and why this country, and then what are your future plans, and how does studying for this particular course help you to look get to those your future plans. See, there are lots of messages in the chat. I just want to see. I know that my time is up, so um. I'm going to round up now. Unfortunately, I've not even got to doing the job part.
Yeah.
So,
Can I just-
yes,
I was going to suggest that obviously I'm not sure we'll be able to take the second part, but are you able to do a bit of demonstration and also then
yes,
answer the question?
yes, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Right. So again, why this university and this country answers the question, why do you want to go abroad and study? Why are you not doing this in Nigeria? And this says that Germany is a natural destination to pursue my professional interests. Okay, let me just tell you what this is saying. Again, this is based on research. If you look at the course page, which we're going to look in a moment, we'll just choose any course at random. You will see all the partnerships that they have. They're always proud of those things. So the fact that you're studying and there's a potential to do your internship in the industry, that's huge for an engineer. And Germany is, they get that right. And then that collaboration between the academia and the industry is always something that people are keen to discuss in Germany. So, in terms of documentation, if you have any questions, we'll wait into a bit more details with this, but then you might be required to write sponsorship letters if you have a partial scholarship or if you're self-funded. Self-funded means that you're planning to pay for yourself or your family is planning to pay for you. They might need if you have a scholarship, then obviously the scholarship provider, if it's PTDF or with LNG or Total, they are going to give you the sponsorship later, because what happens is that you need to submit this after getting admission, and then the university will send you the right documentation that you need to use to apply for your visa. Um, Bank statements, again, if you're self-funded, if you have a full scholarship, you do not require any bank statements. And then all the financial plans. So visa requirements, again, information is power. If you do your research well, you do not need to ask anybody or go meet any agency to give them money, or we heard the story that someone has cheated you or scammed you of your money because you were trying to get a visa. Every information you need is on the country's website, and they are really plain. They are quite well explained. If there's any part of it you do not understand, you go and ask Google, or you can ask like ChatGPT or something like that. But it's always best to get the information from the primary source. Don't allow someone to be interpreting something that they have already picked up from the website. Yeah, common pitfalls. Again, I've said it, relying on people to do your work for you. Even here in the UK, we hear people spreading all kinds of things. They say that someone told them that this is what happens, that this visa is being done this way, or that you can go and take benefits, that someone did it. Those things are, people will land in trouble for those kind of stuff because you refuse to do your own work. So the cost of ignorance is that you make mistakes or you lose opportunities that you might have been able to get. So there are lots of application mistakes to avoid, and always best to start early. That's always the case. So I'm afraid we will not be able to get to the second part. So let me see if I can do a bit of a demo, right? I will assume that I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and I want to do my master's in mechatronics. So first of all, I will go to Google and can you still see my screen? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Yes,
we can see your screen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very good people. So I can say World University Rankings. There's Times Higher Education for it's done by Times Higher Education here in the UK. But the one that the biggest is by the Curelis Simond or something like that. QS. Yeah. So World University Rankings, and there's top ranking for global universities, and this is overall. So overall, you see that this favors us who are engineers. MIT is the number one. Imperial College is the number two. University of Oxford is number three. So if you have a full ride scholarship, assuming that someone has said that, oh, you know what, go and study anywhere you want in the world, this is where to start. So let's pick a university that's here in the UK. Maybe let's go down. We can even narrow it down by country, right? We can filter by anything. So it says apply filters here. So we'll select countries and we say we want the United Kingdom. And that's enough. Just the United Kingdom. Apply filters. So it's taking a moment. Okay, not sure why it's taking that long. So what I wanted to show you is that you can go from there. You can also filter by subjects. You can filter by country and by subject at the same time. I really have no idea what's going on. So it seems that the number one university in the UK is Imperial College London, and then there's Oxford University, there's University College, and there's Manchester. Let's pick University of Bristol, right, which is ranked 54th in the world according to this. And then let's say I want to okay, there are two ways to do this. I can come and do a separate Google search and MSc mechatronics, sorry, mechatronics in the UK, right? And there are so many universities that are doing that. There's Leeds, there's University of East London, there's Liverpool, and then you can actually cross-reference. You can go and say, okay, what's the ranking of University of Glasgow or University of Southampton? Yeah. So if you want to do Southampton, let's say we do Southampton, right? And then I now come here and he's calling it advanced mechanical engineering. I don't want that. Let's say I don't want this. I'm going to open this in a separate page. What I just want to show, what I want to show is that you can do your research by, so master's degree, see, this is the web page for this course, mechatronics or advanced mechanical engineering science. And what you're getting, the award you're getting at the end of the day is a Master of Science, and the typical offer is a 2-1 degree. That means you require a 2-1 to gain admission into this course. And the duration of the course is 1 year, and the course is full-time. And because University of Southampton has more than one campus, this one is being offered at the Highfield campus, and it starts in September 2025. And let's look at the full entry requirements. So they say you will need a 2-1 in one of these subjects: mechatronics, electrical or electronics engineering, aerospace engineering, mech engine, automotive. You must have a 2-1 score in 2 modules from the following. See, you have a mechatronics, electronics, control, right? This lots of engineering students do this: instrumentation, robotics, computing, programming. Alternatively, you can find the international qualifications, the equivalent international qualifications for your country. So if you open these, you will see that you will search through countries, and then you use Nigeria. And then there's English language requirements. I've mentioned IELTS, right? International English Language Testing System. You said that if English isn't your first language, right? Nigeria, English is our first language. Well, it's not our first language, but it's our primary language of communication. And if you gain admission, what they will do is that they have 2 classes of admission in the UK. They will give you something called conditional offer first. Conditional offer is conditioned on the fact that there's missing documentation. Maybe your passport is not ready. They will give you a conditional offer even without an international passport. By the way, again, if you are preparing to do your master's, those are the things you should be getting ready. If you do not have a passport, you need to apply for one. And the IELTS exam is split into these sections. So these are the scores you need to have for each section. It's overall over 9. If you think you don't meet the academic requirements, you can come and do a pre-masters. But I have to warn you, scholarship offers do not cover pre-masters, and typically funders will not consider you if you do not meet all the requirements in the university. So how do I now know all the information that I want to use to write a good application letter? I'll come here and look at modules. So you see, there's active control of sound and vibration. There's advanced electrical systems, control and instrumentation, introduction to advanced mech engine science, research project, planning and management. And you can pick any of this and then even say that when I finish this program, this is why I'm doing this program, because when I finish this program, I want to have gained excellent skills in research planning and management, because I want to go and work at Dangote Refinery, and I want to see how the next best thing about maybe fractional distillation or something. So they are also careers. So if you're so lazy that you do not know what you want to do when you're done with your master, you can look at where their graduates have gone. I'm going to go to the University of Manchester. So there's fees, cost, and funding. A lot of universities will tell you about scholarships that are available. A lot of universities will do that are available for your country. And then how to apply, really, at the end of the day, is just, you can read the step-by-step guide, or you can just say, so most universities, you see this one requires a £50 application fee. Most universities will not require that, especially in the UK. There might be some other requirements. If you're doing an engineering course, a lot of times you will get a requirement to do an ATAS, academic technology approval. So just quickly, let me take another course. Okay, let's do Glasgow. Yeah, also in Glasgow, and it's also my.
Engineer Kenechi, would you be able to look at the scholarship part? I think maybe that's one thing that could be useful if you're able. If
I
not,
cannot.
that's the question.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's look at a particular course here. Postgraduate study. And then let me see if I can find a program that's popular among Nigerians, like data science. Where is it? Yes, here. So, fees and funding. So this course cost £33,000 per annum, which is a lot of money. Now, see funding opportunities. So you see, they've listed all kinds of scholarship. Like, look at them. There are so many of them. As a Nigerian applicant, you will not qualify for half of these. But then look at this. There are so many of them. See, there's Chevening scholarship, which I've talked about, and every Nigerian will qualify for Chevening scholarship. There's a DAAD University of Glasgow 1 year master's grant. These are some of those ones. This is one of the scholarships I got, Erasmus. It's a really, really good master's program scholarship, very competitive as most other ones are. So I can't go through all this. They wouldn't even have listed PTDF here, or maybe they do. But you can see that there are lots of scholarships, right? There's Glasgow Excellence Award, 40 available to UK. This is says for UK students, so obviously you're not qualified for this. World Changers Glasgow Scholarship, applicants that completed a year abroad. So there are, please, whichever one you see, always look at if you're eligible. And I can assure you, especially for PhD scholarships, sometimes they say it's only available for home students, and then they are not able to find the home students. There was a talk I gave recently at the University of Glasgow, and some of my panelists who are also colleagues have funding and they are looking to recruit people to do research in that particular area, but they can't. They actually came to that talk to advertise those scholarships. There were at least four of them that have funding trying to recruit students to come and work on the project that they are working on, and they couldn't find students. The problem being that most of them are advertised for what they call home students, meaning UK students or EU students, but they don't get a lot of application from those home students. One told me she already had 25 applications and only two or three were home students, and most of them were not qualified. At the end of the day, they will likely persuade whoever has given them the fund to allow them to recruit international students. So, especially if you're applying for a PhD opportunity, please, if you see an opportunity that matches your skill, go ahead and apply for it. So, let's take a few questions, please, and then we'll use the questions to address any other practical skills, or you can find that information on the website. I don't know if there are any in the chats.
Yeah, thank you, Engineer Kelechi, for this well done delivery for this webinar. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll take a few because our time is spent, but I'll try to go through I think there's a question here. I'll read it out and then you maybe probably answer. It says, "Good day, sir. Thanks for the presentation. I'm Abdulaziz. My name, a recent mechanical engineering graduate from the Federal University of Technology, Mina. I'm writing to oh God, sir. Sorry, this is not the question. This is not the one I wanted to read. There's a particular one that says, if you get admission with self-funding option for MEng in Canada, is it possible to get
To keep
funding?"
funding when I just saw that. Yes. I have a friend who did exactly that. He got admission to do an MEng program from Nigeria and then went to Canada. 1 year, in fact, like one semester in, he was able to find a fully funded PhD program. He had already done a master's in Nigeria and then he switched. He just graduated from his PhD in December, this 2024 December. So yes, it's very much possible. Again, if you're able to raise the money, the problem is that your family might need, you need to raise a bulk of money to show proof of funds so that you get a visa for you to be able to travel to Canada. Some people rally around, get that money put in their account. Once they get the visa, they just take the minimum amount they need to get to Canada and settle in. Please always prepare for like at least 3 months money to settle in if you're traveling to a foreign country. Once they settle in, they will start applying. I have another friend, especially in Canada. I have another friend who went to Canada on a different scholarship from Nigeria, which was not really well. But he was doing an integrated master's and PhD. So he did a master's leading to a PhD. And he scored so well in some of the courses, in taught courses, that he had like 3 professors offering him PhD scholarship, fully funded. And some of them are also willing to fund the rest of your masters. Because again, any successful academic gets funding from industry or from some other places, and they're always looking for exceptional students. So once your first semester results are out, you will see that offers will start coming in, even without you asking for them. Right. Questions, please.
Any other person with questions, raise up your hand and we'll just take it just now.
Yes, Rashid Babalola.
Yeah, Engineer Babalola, please go ahead, sir. FNAC.
Thank you. My is not going to be in form of a question, but comment. And I want to start by appreciating Engineer Segun Olarinoye, the chairman of Glasgow branch, for bringing this webinar to our doorstep. This is one good thing about the Nigerian Society of Engineers that has made us to interact among ourselves. Even from down UK, we are able to mentor, of course, and shaping people's ambition. So this topic presented by Dr. Omeke is very apt, especially at this time that most graduates here in our country of course, looking elsewhere for a job and so on and so forth. Most of us there prefer to do further studies abroad. So this is commendable. I want to thank you. I want to thank the branch for a good work. No doubt your predecessor, your IPC, was also doing all this for us. So I'm not in doubt that he has found a good successor in the person of Engineer Segun. So that is what I need to just add, because it has been very, very beneficial to my students. I do recommend them to join the call. Many times they come out not the same again. Once again, thank you for bringing this on board.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Engineer Babalola, FNSC. Thank you for your comments, and they're well noted. And thank you for your support all over the years. I think we'll probably take one more question or comment since our time is far spent, if that's okay.
I'm really keen to hear if maybe there is an undergraduate that is on the call, or someone who has finished their bachelor's and waiting to do their master's. If you do not understand anything I've said, because we're going at it quite fast, that's okay too. What we will do, or what I will do, is that I will prepare something like maybe an article highlighting everything I've said. This presentation is going to be posted on our website and on our social media channels. Please look out for them. And on our website, you can also see how to get in touch with us if you want to request a copy of the presentation. But then my contact is here as well. So if there's an undergraduate, especially, but any other person who has a question, please feel free to ask your question. But if you're an undergraduate and you have any particular question, maybe about how to get started, again, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand and ask questions.
Any question? Anybody want to ask a question?
Yes,
Okay.
good evening, sir.
Good evening, Engineer Valerie Agberegba FNSC. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. I'm Abdelaziz Hafiz by name.
Okay.
I graduated from the Federal University of Technology, Minna, Mechanical Engineering Department. I've already searched for your names on the LinkedIn. I'm unable to get it. So I actually wish to proceed furthermore in my academics to study mechanical engineering in UK. So I would love to have your support in how to start the application.
Okay. The best thing is to know what you want to study. That's the number one thing. So I have even given an example with it should be easy for people like you because I've given an example. So maybe you did mechanical engineering. I use AI a lot. I'm not going to, I use AI a lot. So for instance, let's say I asked ChatGPT now that I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, right, from Nigeria. What master's courses can I study? It will show you so many of them. I study abroad. And then you now start looking at through this list, right? Why I've used ChatGPT is because it summarizes all the information that you will normally find on Google. So there's you see robotics, automotive engineering, there's power system. I wouldn't advise you to do power systems or telecoms or IoT. Again, this is why I don't use AI for everything. You really need to know what you want to do. So in your final year, there would have been specializations, right? Some of you would have gone into thermodynamics, in heat pumps and heat machine, other machines based on heat transfer and stuff like that. Some might have gone a bit more towards the mechatronics side into robotics and stuff like that. So those elective courses, that's usually like a beginning, where to begin. So let's assume that your elective courses, the courses, what did you do your project on, for instance? That's the number one place you can look. I did my project on wireless sensor networks when I did my electronics engineering bachelor's, and that was what led me to start taking interest in the Internet of Things, in sensor networks, and then in communication and networking generally, and that was where I continued until I got my PhD. So that's where to start. First of all, you find a course, and then you now go around and say which countries and which universities are doing this course. You look at the universities in the UK. Get a notebook, write these things down. If you have an iPad or a tablet, or you can use the phone, the note-taking apps on your phone. By the time you research three universities, you see that all the requirements are the same. Or you get a 2-1 or a 2-2, you have work experience or you don't have work experience, they will require English language. And then you start looking around for scholarships. What are scholarships funding? Sometimes you might want to do a master's in neurobiology or something, and those things are not available. There's nobody that's funding that. Then you have to switch around your plans a bit so that you can get the courses that someone can afford. If you want to do PTDF, for instance, it's not everything that they fund, but as a mechanical engineer, they will fund pretty much everything. There's LNG. There are like loads of scholarships in Nigeria that are meant for international studies. I hope that has answered your question. And my name is just my name on LinkedIn and almost all social media that I use, even the website as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll just take Engineer Valerie and we'll take Engineer Adeyemo, and then that will be all for the Q&A session. Engineer Valerie Agbereba, FNSC, please go ahead now.
Thank you very much, my chairman. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for this topic. I have actually enjoyed being part of it, and mine is just to ask, is it possible for us to, I'm the chair of the International Relations Committee of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and sometimes some of these topics come in and we are looking at those who will benefit from it as part of members of Nigerian Society of Engineers. So I want to ask Mr. Chairman and of course the presenter, could we have a collaboration that you have this paper presented to the Young Engineers Forum so that it will just be a collaboration between us and you, and then it will be for the young engineers, because these are the people that really need to understand this. A lot of them are out there, they don't know how to really handle some of these issues, even how to get themselves sorted out and then move on to the next stage of their life. So is it possible for us to have this collaboration so we can plan it for maybe end of first quarter? Because I see this is a very useful information for the young engineers, and if you don't mind. So that's my question. But thank you, Engineer Kenechi, for a job well done. I have loved it, and actually was interested to see if I could get my daughter also to get some scholarships, because she's just coming back to the UK. She finished there before, came in to do her NYC here, and she's coming back for her master's. And I wouldn't mind having some support from some scholarships. So it was also my area of interest too. So thank you for a job well done. I really appreciate the presentation. So please look at the collaboration, and even if the chairman cannot answer me now, we can chat after this and think of how we can do it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Valerie. The answer is always yes. The Glasgow branch also has an outreach unit whereby we support the young ones who are interested in STEM, both in Nigeria as well as here in the UK. And the answer is always yes. I can answer you because it's also within the purview of my office as the technical secretary of the branch to answer such questions. So please get in touch with the chairman and we'll take it off from there. Your daughter can always, you should know that the university where she finished her bachelor's from, they always offer discount for people who are coming back to do their masters. There are also internal scholarships as well. And even within university scholarships, again, sometimes people do not know that these things exist. And because they are internal scholarship, they sometimes are less competitive than external ones, which are more publicized. But happy to come talk to the young engineers anytime.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Engineer Valerie. Thank you so much, Kenechi. I think we'll be happy and it will be worthwhile to do a collaboration, speak to a wider audience and people that need to impact that. Because of our time, I will take the last one from Engineer Adeyemo Omowumi. She was actually the first to join the call. So please go ahead with your question. Apologies, we won't be able to take much because we need to transit to our general meeting. But Engineer Adeyemo, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for your insightful and impactful presentation. Really an eye-opener. My question is as follows, sir. Like you have helped us with how we can get a scholarship school for masters and for PhD. Is there any way you can just help us a bit on how we can collaborate with a university over there for our research work and publications? Then secondly, the way to go about getting job right from Nigeria here. Is there a way we can go about that?
Right. Very important and pertinent question. I know it's tangential to the presentation today, but I will answer anyway. Again, what I would advise is that a lot of our members, the Glasgow branch members, are academics. So they are, and academics, I know, are always open for collaboration. But practically, it might benefit you more to look at, say, University of Glasgow, for instance, and then look at, staff. There's a staff A to Z or something like that. Or you can go to maybe a mechanical engineering, for instance, and then you see who will teach the course, right? And then you see who's working in your research area. The easiest way to get an academic's attention is to praise them, right? You say that, oh, I listened to the presentation you gave at so and so conference, and I was intrigued. And then I wondered how supercomputing qubits can be parameterized, just whatever it is, because you understand these jargons, you get their attention immediately. And then you now say that, oh, you know what, I'm working on so and so, and I wondered if you have to come to the table with something, right? If whatever you're bringing to the table is your easiest way to get their attention. So that will be my primary approach. Get the attention. And also, if you're talking about this, if you go to LinkedIn, for instance, every professional is trying to sell their markets and they're always wanting to collaborate with. There was someone I reached out to me last month because they are looking for some people to work on a project at the University of Oxford, together with working with people in Nigeria. And I reached out to the people I know and said that this is the opportunity. As a matter of fact, where I work, it's always a very good thing to have collaborations with people in developing countries. So the project I'm working on, I have to work with people from Rwanda and Ghana, and we have to train these people we have to fund them and we have to do pretty much everything just to make sure that there's that balance in what we're doing and that it is globally applicable or, as we say, globally generalizable. Reach out to people, use LinkedIn, but then again, you can always come to the branch and say that this is what I'm working on. And I know that there are lots of our people here, even from the industry, that are interested in working with academics in Nigeria. So that will be how you work together and write papers. I'm always open for such collaborations myself. So if you're doing something in an area that is of interest to me, then we work together. The good thing is that because people here usually have funding, you're able to use that funding here and apply to go for conferences as well as to publish your journals your articles in journals that charge processing fees. So please do reach out to. I was trying to find most website courses will have a website. Sorry, we tell you about who's teaching the course, and then you can then see from there who the professionals in the field are. But yeah, thanks for your question and thanks everyone for your engagement.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Engineer Kenechi. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Apologies for the questions that we are not able to take. It's obviously because of our time. We are 26 minutes above the time we want to spend. But the key takeaway from this is information is key. And so let's go out there and look for the right information, and it will be able to help us. Another thing is that preparation is key. One of the slides Engineer Kenechi mentioned about 18 to 26 months. So if you're thinking of doing this stuff, it's not, you don't just wake up today and expect you want to get a scholarship tomorrow. One of the other points he has made is that you need to be a strong candidate, and he has outlined the things that you need to do to present yourself as a strong candidate, which will in turn to a strong statement, and that gives you a better chance. Above all, don't put your destiny in somebody's hands. Go out there, do your own research. At least one of the major demonstrations of this webinar today is that you just go online, go and look for the right informations, and then you'll be able to get these things, and it will help you to decide to make your decision and hopefully help your process. There's no process that is easy, to be honest. If you do 300 applications and do not get a response, don't stop there. Be like Thomas Edison, that will go further until you discover your light bulb. So, on behalf of the ESCOs and members of Glasgow, NSC Glasgow branch, we want to thank everyone who has taken their time to attend this webinar for January. We promise to always come up with topics that are relevant to everybody, that will impact us in our professional journey. And so, thank you so much, everyone. We will now transition into our monthly meeting. If you're happy to stay behind, we're happy to have